Grand Emprise Time Travel Survival might be a bit of a mouthful. When I first saw the trailer for it, it was definitely a game I knew I wanted to try. It's a game where you seemingly start in the prehistoric times fighting dinosaurs before progressing through time until you are in some sort of sci-fi futuristic age. When I first saw it, I was honestly just a bit confused that everything I was seeing was from the same game, to be honest. So I've been looking forward to trying this out for a very long time. Unfortunately though, I think this did turn out to be one of those "I've tried this out so you don't have to" type of things. Like many survival games, you start stood on the beach with nothing, just looking out towards the water. You take a little bit of time just to figure out what it is you're doing and where it is you're supposed to be going. It honestly doesn't look as shit as I thought it would. After looking around for a little bit, you do find a broken time travel device on the floor. Now, this time travel device is quite easily fixed. You open your tech tree and it explains all you've got to do is gather a few pebbles from the beach. Doesn't make sense to me, but we'll see how it goes. Now, it did take me a lot longer than I would like to admit to figure out that to gather these pebbles, you just click on the ground. And in my head, I'm there spamming E or F or G, trying to figure out what button it is to grab things off of the floor. But for some reason in this survival game, you just click them to pick them up. Click them to pick them up. That's kind of... It's weird for the gathering not to be on E. Now, after gathering these pebbles for a little bit, we combined them with our broken time travel device to somehow repair it. And once it was working, we used it to leave this random little island that we were stranded on. Not the smoothest cutscene I've ever seen in my life, but here we are. Now this brought us to the prehistoric age. We immediately saw a dinosaur sat across the water from us and we knew what we had to do. So we followed the tech tree a bit further and picked up some berries and grabbed some rocks before we got into our first little fight. As you can tell, the combat wasn't exactly the most satisfying I've ever experienced. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna die. Nor was the dinosaur the prettiest model I'd ever seen. This is a Utah raptor? How the fuck is this a Utah raptor? Fucking hell, the throwing is so weird. There we go. But we got our first kill, and we harvested the meat from this first kill to achieve that initial goal we had. Taming a dinosaur. Okay, we have dinosaur meat now. You're my friend. Which again wasn't exactly the most sophisticated process. Damn, taming in this game's easy. Now the first thing you do when you get a pet dinosaur is kill another dinosaur, right? Again, the combat wasn't exactly very satisfying. Oh, look at that big boy. Oh no. Better get up these rocks. Do you reckon we just scoop by him? We can go up behind? Although it's impossible to have a boring fight when a T-Rex is involved, right? Oh, we're actually fucking him up. What the fuck? I was a bit surprised that our fresh-tamed Utah raptor was able to beat a T-Rex, to be honest. But it is what it is. Okay, maybe the raptor is OP, I guess? Oh, he nearly died, though. Okay, what is this? It was at this point that a waypoint popped up and the game prompted us to go and explore a cave. When we got to the end of the cave, we realised that there's actually a portal here that turned out to be another time travel portal. Oh, okay, we're time travelling again. Now this brought us to quite an interesting looking area where it seemed obvious that we had to follow this little yellow orb and it was going to take us on a tour through this mysterious temple. So we did that. Okay, I guess we just follow this little dude around. Oh, a bit jittery at times. I really hate how it's not just sprint. Like, it's like dashing around. It's almost like you're playing a VR game. The scenery looks cool. Now, at first, I actually thought this area was really cool, and I thought maybe there is a bit of promise to this game. But the more I got through it, the more I started to recognize certain assets and just bits and pieces from other game demos and concept designs and stuff like that. And it clicked. These are just a bunch of assets all just stuck together and dumped into one big room. It did look cool, but it wasn't exactly as promising for the game as I'd have hoped. Now, after following this yellow orb for honestly a fairly significant amount of time through this asset dump, we found another portal where we were just sent to another realm. So I didn't really understand the point in this realm. It was just to show off assets that the devs didn't really make. It just seemed a bit bizarre to me is all. Charge time travel device. Okay, so we've made it to the next era now, I guess. Now this is what brought us onto the Stone Age, where we essentially just used a rock to gather some rock and wood, to make some tools, to get some more rock and wood. At which point we found somewhere we wanted to build a base, and honestly we experienced what might be the most disappointing base building I've ever experienced in a survival game ever. Build house version 4 because why not? Just to hit it with. Like you can't even build your own house, you've got to like put down a template of a house. It's not like I can custom design my own thing. Yep, that was correct. You do literally just place down a house that you select off of a spinny wheel and just hit it with your pickaxe and that's your house done. Very little customization and honestly, this was just so disappointing for me. Now, honestly, this was almost enough just to put me off the game entirely. I wanted to give it another chance. So we spent some time splitting logs and we built a boat and I wanted to go and see what there was out there. Like maybe exploring was something more satisfying in this game. Honestly, this was really disappointing too. The rivers are literally just like when you used to build a map in Age of Empires back in the day and you would literally just draw a line into the ground. There was no sort of texture or terrain or any sort of editing at all. It was literally just a straight ditch with grass at the bottom and just filled with water. These are really not very aesthetic rivers at all. After exploring it for quite some time, we did eventually find a camp full of cavemen, so I thought we'd test out the combat with these guys, like maybe it was a little bit better. Spoiler, it wasn't. Honestly, I was just getting frustrated by this, and at this point I was done with the Stone Age, so I just whizzed through the rest of the tasks, which honestly were just hitting more rocks and putting things together so that I could get to the next stage, hoping maybe it was something different. Now the next time period was called Egypt, so this made me think we'd maybe be coming into the time of the pyramids or maybe into the time of Cleopatra or something like that, but this was a bit different to what I expected and we ended up on Arrakis, I guess. What the fuck am I supposed to do here? It wasn't long before we were running for our lives from sandworms, which again was very annoying because there's no actual sprint in this game. You press sprint and it's just a dash forward. So you're just dashing forward over and over again as if it's some sort of VR game where you haven't got any sort of analog movement. It's very frustrating, if I'm honest. But we ran on down to an oasis to get some shelter and figure out what it is we were supposed to do. Which essentially was just chopping trees to build a boat that magically works on sand for some reason, that you then just go to a red exclamation mark and puts on the map for you. And honestly, that's all that there was to do on this whole time period. Literally, that's all it was. You just take the boat across, you find a relic, you click it, which takes you to the Roman times, where all you do is spawn in a Colosseum, kill some Romans, and then you move on to the next time period. Which was just some seemingly feudal Japan type time period. I'm not really sure when. Sometime when there was samurais, because all you do here is beat up a samurai boss and you're on to the next time period. This next time period was supposedly the colonial times, and it didn't take me long to realise that this was just going to be more hitting rocks and trees to build prefabricated buildings on a sandbox of recycled assets. It was honestly kind of frustrating. Each time period just felt like a checklist of boring, non-immersive farming tasks before moving on to the next time period to do the exact same thing again, just with a different skin. I really wanted to enjoy it because the concept is really cool, and I would love to see this idea created to a much higher quality, but man, I just couldn't play this anymore. It was so boring. That's why you've actually got a voice over here rather than just me having voice while I was playing it, because I sound bored. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and do check the game out on Steam if you feel like it's something that you would enjoy. If you've made it this far, I can only assume that you didn't hate the video, so please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week for my first time playing the raft. Thank you.